Hi, so for the past month or so I've been testing one of the more popular freestanding alarm systems called Ajax. So basically what we got here is an alarm system for both home, work and even mobile use, since basically all of the devices runs on battery power if you want them to. There's no monthly fee connected to the Ajax system or the software related to it, so what you pay is the initial cost for the devices that you want. You can also connect the whole system to a security firm or security company and have them respond to triggered alarms, for example. The cost here, if you want to do this, varies between countries since different security companies are used for different countries. But roughly the price here, if you want to include this in your alarm setup, sits anywhere between roughly $20 to $100 a month. So I've been testing this lovely little package of devices. Ajax also produces a lot of other devices, for example surveillance cameras. However, in this test I've stuck to the more basic alarm system components, consisting firstly of the hub unit that is necessary for all the other units to be able to talk to each other and for the system to get online. In this case, it's the Hub 2 Plus, which can connect to internet both via cable, Wi-Fi and 2 SIM cards for extra redundancy. The hub also has got a built-in battery backup, allowing it to continue operation for about 15 hours in case of a power outage. Everything in the Ajax system is controlled via the Ajax app, and installation of any of the devices is actually super simple by just scanning the QR code on the device and then powering it on. Communication-wise, the Ajax system uses the company's own protocol called Jeweler, and all communication between the devices is encrypted according to the AES standard. I haven't made any actual attempts here to disturb the communication between the devices, but according to Ajax, the system works actively to monitor any kind of suspect communicative behavior and should then report that to the user. For transmission, the distance is a little different depending on the device in question, but generally and with no obstructions in the way, the distance between the units is up to around a maximum of about 2 kilometers. Add some concrete walls though and this will greatly reduce, but still, and personally I've had zero issues here with testing on an area that is around 120 square meters. Also worth mentioning is that the communication distance can be increased with extenders would you want to do that. Alright, after the hub is installed through the app, we can then add other devices in the same way. Everything added is neatly laid out in the app, and we can also create different rooms to assign each added device to. Here though, it would have been nice to be able to rearrange the devices in the lists. Now they are stuck in the order that they were added to the system, but this is basically my only complaint with the app, so yeah. Mounting the different devices units are also pretty straightforward. The smaller ones comes both with screws and some adhesive tape to make sure that you can get the correct alignment before actually installing them with the screws. Using the app, we can also test, for example, the actual view area of an IR sensor to make sure placing is optimal for what we want the viewing area to be. As for the written installation guide, I can't even read this at all. It's way too small and way too much. Luckily though, the available content on Ajax website is most of the time great and goes through anything for installing to operating of any of the devices correctly. So what have I actually installed here? Well, after the hub, I've also tested the KeyPad TouchScreen, which is a maneuver panel capable of arming and disarming the alarm using both codes, smartphones, tags and cards. I've tested both the tags, phones via Bluetooth Low Energy LE, as well as normal codes, and everything has actually been working perfectly fine and snappy. Bear in mind though that the settings for all the devices in the app are indeed many and does take some time going through. I wouldn't say setting the alarm and the devices up is super difficult. However though, on way more than one occasion I have been forced to go to the online manuals to figure out a specific setting. Apart from arming and disarming the alarm, the touchscreen panel is also capable of controlling light switches and wall sockets added to the system. Here you can also set up different scenarios, like for example that all the lights turn off when you arm the alarm. Ajax also offer more simple maneuver panels if you don't need the extra functionality this one offers. Tech-wise, the KeyPad touchscreen works perfectly fine. The screen has got a fair resolution of 480 by 854 pixels and also really good viewing angles. It runs on battery for about a year and a half, but can also be connected using a normal power cable, which is though sold separately. The other devices are more common alarm devices. First we have the DoorProtect and DoorProtect Plus that keeps a check on whether or not a door or a window is open or closed. Both of these comes with 2 magnets, one bigger with about 2 centimeters range range and a smaller one with about 1 centimeter range, depending on where you want to install them. Functionality-wise, the Plus models also offers shock and tilt sensors to prevent tampering with the actual unit. While on the tamper subject, all of the devices also has got built-in tamper switches, making them send a notification or trigger the actual alarm if any of the devices gets removed from their attachment place, a functionality that works both great and fast. Design-wise, similar to the DoorProtect sensors, I've also tried the GlassProtect sensor that responds to and triggers the alarm in case of glass breaking, a neat little device that is super easy to place for extra security. IR sensor-wise, I've tried the normal versions as well as the PhOD, photo on demand version. They both do the same thing, that is, reacts to movement, but the photo on demand version also has got a built-in camera with a maximum resolution of 640 by 480 pixels that can be set to send up to 3 pictures every time an alarm is triggered. The quality here isn't anything out of the ordinary, but definitely works for making sure whether or not someone is actually in front of the sensor or not. Here we can also set the sensitivity, and I found that the max setting is absolutely more straight to the point than the lower ones are, which seems reasonable. Adding to the system, I've also tested the Siren, that is fairly self-explanatory. This is the indoor variant that screams with a maximum of 100 decibels. There's also an outdoor version that goes up to 113 decibels. The 100 decibels here is absolutely loud, but if you want maximum effect, I'd probably opt for the outdoor one, even inside. The Siren can also be used as a chime for example, a doorbell and or a door sensor to alert of someone entering the premises. Build quality-wise, all the units have been top-notch, and the only deviation from this was the fabric on the Siren device that was a bit loose up the top. Nothing major, but worth mentioning. Other than that though, I can't really complain about the build quality at all for any of the devices. I've also tested this little button that can be used both as a panic button to trigger either a silent or audible alarm, as well as a normal button to trigger different wall sockets or other activities within the alarm system. Again, this too works as intended and is fairly versatile and easy to use. Of course, Ajax also offers a range of fire alarms. I've tested the FireProtect 2RB, where RB stands for replaceable batteries. This one, apart from reacting to smoke, also goes off when the temperature increases are out of the normal, as well as when the levels of carbon monoxide in the air is too high. Same thing here as for the other units. Installation is easy, mounting is easy, and operating is also easy. It kind of just works, which is also a little bit of the whole point with the Ajax system, even though you can really dig down in the more advanced settings would you want to do so. Lastly, I've also tried the leak detector called LeaksProtect. This is a lovely little unit that you place on the floor underneath, for example, a washer machine, piping, etc. When any of the metal spikes on the bottom gets in contact with water, the unit then sends an alarm either to the app or triggers the siren, depending on the setting that you've picked. The LeaksProtect can also be combined with the water stop valve to turn off the water flow in case of a detected leak. So that's about it for what I've actually tested. So have I been happy with this system? Overall, absolutely yes. The whole installation process is very straightforward. The amount of settings are many, and the app is also perfectly decent, although it would have been nice to see some more in-app descriptions of what all these settings do. Apart from the normal alarm functionality, the system also offers a lot of extra things. For example, setting up a geofence around your home or wherever the alarm is installed, where the app then reminds you to turn on the alarm if you've left the location and not on the alarm. I also appreciate the possibility to have different alarm codes to set off silent alarms in case someone being forced to, for example, turn off the alarm in case of a robbery. Integration-wise though, the system, at least for now, is not compatible with any other smart home systems like Apple and Google Home. However, you can, for example, use smart door locks from Yale directly within the app, but it would be nice to be able to use existing already installed hardware for lights, etc. straight in the Ajax system. At least for now, a lot of this is locked to Ajax on devices, which can of course be both positive and negative. So what does it cost then? Well, it's not free. I've put the prices of the units I've tested here, and if you're looking for like a starter package with a hub, a couple of sensors, an IR sensor, a siren, and a maneuver panel, you're looking at about, depending on where you get it from, around £600 and even a little more euros as well as dollars from there. And from there, the cost also goes up pretty fast if you want to add more devices to your system. And sure, most cost effective is definitely still building your own alarm system from scratch. But otherwise, and compared to other established established brands, the cost of the Ajax system is not out of this world at all, especially since there is no monthly fee. And it's also nice to know that most of the devices, apart from some of the older hubs, just works together with all the other devices, making especially installation extremely easy. Add to that a both stable and indeed well-designed line of products, and Ajax is actually a really nice alarm system solution that I can't complain that much about. Alright, bit of a long video, but many devices to cover. Please though share any thoughts or questions that you might have in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching, bye!